Hi everyone, my name is Ryan Thompson and I'm one of the solution engineers at N2WS. In today's tutorial, I'll be walking you through how to use the recovery scenarios feature. First of all, on the N2WS console, click on the recovery scenarios at the left-hand side. And from there, you'll see a list of all your predefined recovery scenarios you've created to date. What we'll do today is we'll create a new one together. You have the option to create an AWS recovery scenario or an Azure recovery scenario. We'll select AWS for today. The first part you need to configure is just the name. So I'll just put test for today's purposes. And the next part you would select is your account. And this can be any of the accounts that you've added to your AWS console. I'll just select primary AWS here. Each recovery scenario is linked to a backup policy that you've created in your N2WS console. For today's purposes, we'll select Linux servers. And you can add a description if you want as well, just so your team knows exactly what this is used for. Under the recovery destination account, you select the account in which you want the resources to be recovered in. So I've got my original account or my DR account. In the recovery destination region, you can choose which region you want your resources to be recovered to. I'm going to select Ireland because the whole purpose of this scenario I'm creating is to recover my resources from the London region into the Ireland region. Okay, you can also attach a schedule if you want to. So you can attach a daily, a weekly, a monthly schedule, and this means that scenario runs on the schedule that you define. You can also input an email address here so that you get an export of all the information sent to this email here. So you could use a shared mailbox or a distribution list if you wanted to. You also get a couple of extra optional options at the bottom here. So you can enable agent scripts. So this could be post or pre-recovery scripts. You can also enable this button here, which continues resources recovery in case of a failure. Heading over to recovery targets, click the button Add Recovery Targets. And from this, you can add all the targets from the policy, or you can add just specific instances from that policy. So I'll just add both of them here. Add selected and close. Okay, so that's the instance added here. You can see the right-hand side, you've got a recovery order. So this is the order in which the resources will be recovered. So if you have some dependencies, maybe at the main controller, you can set that to 1 and then every other resource to 2, 3, and so on. For this purpose, I'll just put them both to 1. For every instance that you have listed here, you can actually configure them, okay? So if you click the configure button here, you've got your configuration wizard here for the recovery, and you can make any changes that you want. If you leave all these as default, then it will recover the instances as they were when they were backed up. If I wanted to change the VPC, I would click here, and I have the drop-down of all the VPCs in that region, and security groups, subnets, and so on, okay? So let's click close here, and we will save the recovery scenario. If you want to run it, you would click Run Scenario, but we also have another option called Dry Run. So what is the difference between the two? So the dry run performs a network configuration test. So it will check, is the region available, the subnets, security groups, IP addresses, and so on. That will give you an export, and that can be sent to your email as well. And that will let you know if everything is successful. So what a lot of customers do is they would have this set on maybe a weekly or a monthly schedule, and this will let them know if the recovery scenario is working. To actually run a real scenario and recover the resources, you would click the Run Scenario button here, and you browse through the most recent backups of your policy. So I will select the recent backup, which is here, and click Recover. If you want to see the progress of your recovery scenario, you can head over to the recovery scenario monitor here, and you can see my scenario is currently in progress. If I navigate to the AWS console here and go to the Ireland region, this is where the resources will actually spin up. And you can see it's as quick as that. Linux Server 2 and Linux Server 1 are already in a running state. And that concludes the tutorial for today. Thank you.